Alrighty, so last time on Project Homestead, we built the whole homestead, and now the whole series is over. But we still have an entire stinking world to explore. And so you know what? We're going to add a root cellar and do some stuff with that. While I'm doing that little project, I'm going to talk about the status of my channel and kind of give people an update as to where the channel's coming, where the channel's been, and where the channel is going to go next. But before we talk about that, I need a good place for a root cellar. Of course, you know, the root cellar would have been used for storing foods for long periods of time, because remember, refrigeration was really a thing in this time period. There was no such thing as electric refrigeration, so obviously if you wanted to store things, you needed a cool, dark place. So the homestead, the problem with storing stuff in here is it is going to be a bit warm. It's going to be perhaps a bit wet, but definitely too warm to store stuff for long periods of time. And so typically you would have an outbuilding or an out pit where you would put in your root cellar. Now the tricky part is you don't want to put it too close to that the water sources over here, because you might run the risk of flooding. So I'm thinking we're going to just put it out back behind the barn. So without further ado, let's build a little out portion. I wonder if I have any doors left. But let's see here. Well placed. But, well, I need a door, so let's go into the homestead and get that. So the future topic of this video, this is kind of going to serve as the state of the video, the state of the channel video, if you want to think of it that way. Don't need the axe out at the moment. And I'm basically going to give you a rundown of how this lovely channel has been doing since its founding. So it is currently October of 2019, and the channel started on August 26th. Let's see, we'll start digging down here. Bedrock already. Nope, that works. But essentially the goal of this channel was to kind of have a way to upload educational videos, lectures, shovel broke, and materials for classes. Essentially the idea was this would be a great central location for students to, another shovel broke, a great central location for students to kind of get additional study resources and get a bit of extra support in the classroom, or out of the classroom, technically. Now I configured it to work a bit differently from your more traditional. Yep, there we go. I configured it to work a bit differently from your more traditional teacher YouTube channel, as you can clearly see here. And that's because, well, I wanted it to do a little bit more than just be a study tool for classes. But there we go. We've got a nice little shelter for storing extra goods. We'll put some barrels in there. See if we have the materials for that. Let's see here. Okay, checking the pause feature. I'm using a new recording software, OBS, to get the job done. So far, I'm quite happy with it. It's relatively easy to set up, and I can do a lot of complicated things with it. And I have 2 torches. I need to go get some more torches. Well, some assembly required. Anyways, so when I was setting up this channel, one of the things I did is I didn't set it up through my school account. I used a account that I set up for academic purposes after I left graduate school. Essentially, it was kind of an account that I could use in more academic or, well, an account that's definitely tied to me and has a lot of potential uses for an academic setting. So it's not run through my school account. The other reason I kind of launched my YouTube channel through this independent account that I completely control is out of a desire to be able to, well, do a variety of different projects with it. Yes, this is good. This is mainly serving as a resource for students to help them do assignments. Yes, it is that kind of resource, but also I wanted to make sure that I created something that was a bit more than that, something that I could see keeping up and interesting for longer periods of time. And it looks like I need to go chop down a tree, and the sun's going down. But you know what? I think we'll be just fine. Famous last words. Let's see here. Let's grab the horse. Well, no. Well, yeah, I can't sprint. I'm starving. Perhaps the best way to kind of talk about what this channel's aiming to do is to give a little walk through the different playlists. Because that's essentially will explain a lot of where this channel is coming from. So the foundational playlist, it's not the first one, but it's the first one I had fully mapped out, is on U.S. History 2 lectures. Essentially, the idea is I teach a lot of U.S. History 2 sections already in my very short teaching career. I've taught over 300 students in U.S. History, and so it makes sense to make a lot of resources for that class. Okay, let's get back to the house. So mainly what we see on this channel is I take my my lectures that I give in class, or it's partial lectures, because what I do is sometimes I break up the lectures. Oh, hello. We've got a friend. And now we have a dirt pile. Oh well, we're building sod houses. You can never have enough dirt for that. And there's one by the tree line. The windbreak. Come on. I do not want you breaking my perfectly good tree break. Why? I bet some of you are thinking, oh, will they get him? Well, I promise nothing. Let's see here. I don't want to go through the wheat field because that might get me killed. Or get my property damaged. Oh, I really don't want to deal with that again. Alrighty. Do I have anything to eat in this? Yes. Anyways, I get distracted a lot. I'm not very good at these videos. But no, so this class, the U.S. History 2 lecture series has the longest videos I've created up to this point. Essentially, the first one was I think 45 minutes long, but I've been trying to shorten them down to 30. I'm not going to be like the crash course guys that run through the whole thing and oh gee, what is it? They can run through these things in like 15-minute segments, and I'm just not that efficient. And also, they're trying to give an overview, and there's some things that I need to be more specific about in my classes. That's kind of where I'm coming from with that. There we go, got some barrels. Actually, let's take a nap. But so, while my U.S. History 2 lectures are perhaps not the most interesting, they are the ones, the tool that this channel was created for. Nothing like the burning of zombies on the horizon. Something the pioneers never truly got to experience. How lamentable. Anyways, let's get some barrels in here. And there we have it. We have a little storage shed. However, I feel it's a bit boring, and we have Minecraft. This is, whatchamacallit? Minecraft. I think we can do a bit more with this little storage shed. What it is, well, I'll tell you in a second. But first, I need some, ideally some iron and some coal. So we'll see if we can get that without getting ourselves killed. Bingo. Now the other channel that I have is research and development. That one is probably going to be the one that if I ever really get back into my LinkedIn profile, that will be a fairly lively place, because essentially research and development or the projects section is where I keep my programming, educational games that I design or am trying to design. That's where I keep that stuff. Actually, I think I already have some iron, so gotta get familiar with controls. There we go. But no, so research and development is where I show off my limited coding prowess. I am an amateur who's learning slowly. So that's what research and development is. U.S. History 2 students, you know, the virtual museum, that's where I'm going to dump anything that has to do with there. My Ancient Civ students, that's where anything, if I ever talk about the Encyclopedia of the Ancient World that I'm having students build, that's where I would talk about that there. So there's quite a bit going on in that regard. But I'm going to pause the video for a second. I need to look up a code because I need to get a special tool that does not exist in this particular world of this Minecraft map. Alrighty, so we're back. Well, that feels like a moment to you, but it was a bit longer for me. It took me a moment to look up some commands. Anyways, you can try and guess what I'm doing while you're thinking about it. But I need a bigger hole. Anyways, so after research and development, the other playlist, perhaps the oldest playlist on here, is the whatchamacallit? It's the Classroom Tools and Resources playlist. Essentially, what this one was is basically it was it's a place where I put videos that kind of help students with. It's not necessarily like history videos like the US2 lectures. It's more like tips and tricks to being a good student. So like I have note-taking tips. The first video I uploaded there was a textbook tour where I essentially cracked out a document cam. I've got an old document cam in my classroom, and I recorded, okay, what does what does our textbook look like? What can you find there? Etc., etc. Let's see. There we go. I think that's okay. Wider. Ooh, nice. Bit of iron. But yeah, so essentially the Classroom Tools and Resources, I'm going to put in some note-taking tips, like Cornell notes, spider web notes, taking style, outline taking notes, just some different tools for students to kind of be able to use and make references to. There we go. Now we need to stack some of this. wider. Oh. And I ran out of pickaxes again. Okay. What was I saying? But yeah, classroom tools. Now the other YouTube channel, the other not channel, playlist I have, the most popular playlist, quite arguably, is of course the off-duty section. Off-duty is where I have those videos that have no academic, no redeeming academic redeeming quality. They're mostly video games at this point, to be brutally honest. I play Minecraft on there. I've got a Monster Hunter World, or I will have Monster Hunter World as one of the things I have in there. Fun stuff like that. Yeah, close enough for government work. Let's see, need to knock out a bit more ceiling. No. There we go. But fun stuff like that. The other channel, and so a lot of students will ask me, well, why do you have this as a playlist? Why don't you just make a separate channel devoted entirely towards gaming? And I guess the official reason for that is I don't want to set up a second channel. This channel is under my control, so I can kind of do whatever I want with it. And the other reason why is I believe it's kind of some sort of Gesamtkunstwerk. I'm probably mispronouncing that. But essentially a total work of art. The idea of I just have one centralized location that combines all of my different interests: video games, history, study academics, video editing, programming, all that. I just have all of my total work of art, my total projects set up into that. Oh, and if you guessed it, yes, I am building a portal to the Nether. Let's put down some bricks here. Oh, it's nighttime. Anyways, but yes, that's kind of the goal here, is to build a portal to the Nether. But no, with my YouTube channel, the reason why I have all kinds of things on here is, yeah, it'd probably be more profitable to, say, set up individual playlists and focus on certain things in certain playlists, but my goal is to kind of present a total work here. Show that there's more to life than just one particular thing, one particular focus. I'd rather have a space to address as many of my interests as possible in it. But no. Now the last, which that kind of leads me to the last playlist that I have established right now, which is on task, mostly. What this playlist is about is kind of experimental stuff. So like my test taking tips video where I give a lecture, but instead of like just giving a lecture like I would in US History 2 lecture series, I play Monster Hunter World or a video game. And that's on task mostly is where I'm going to do as many of my experimental videos to kind of figure out, okay, we have gaming, we have education, we have programming. Where do these different things intersect? It's experimental. It's probably not going to work most of the time, but that's kind of the mentality you have to have with these things. Is a lot of things are trial and error, mostly error, but it's fun to try and make those things. I really enjoyed making the test taking tips video. It was a lot of fun to make. So that's the other reason this channel exists. Is yes, students can use it as a resource, but also it's just something fun I want to do. And that's why I'm here, is to have fun, enjoy life, and maybe accidentally teach a few people in the process. But no. Well, I've been stalling long enough. Let's go into the madness that is called the Nether. Got my sword, no armor, and a bunch of obsidian. Let's go get ourselves hurt. Where the heck am I? Well, first order of business. Put a landmark. Okay. Well, this is kind of lame. I was hoping to get dropped into the middle of some sort of horrifying combat zone. And instead, I'm stuck in a giant stinking hole that I'll have to dig my way out of. Fine. A very nice hole. What? So, anyways, that was less exciting than I'd hoped. The first time I went to the Nether in my survival world. Hello, undead. Don't hit it. Don't hit it. Walk away. Just look away. Walk away. First time I landed in the world, I was immediately murdered by a ghast and almost trapped on the other side. So this is admittedly far less exciting than that. But, oh well. Anyways, to kind of wrap up the content portion of this video, at present, my channel has a little over 20 subscribers. The most popular video that I have is homesteading attempt number 1, or homesteading attempt is I think what it's actually called, which is all it is a little video where I tried to make a homestead and it blew up. I think that's why people like it. But yeah. So that's my most popular video right now. After that, my Oregon Trail Let's Plays are probably the next most popular ones. And it's an early time in my channel's existence. I'm mainly getting the word out to like my channel by word of mouth. Students are like, hey, my teacher's doing something weird, or hey, I hear this one teacher's doing stuff that's really kind of weird. And well, that's essentially how my channel's popularity has grown. If the channel is lame, in my defense, I am a teacher and I have the right to be lame and tell bad puns and have a horrible adult sense of humor. Lame adult sense of humor. Anyways. But let's see here. What else do I want to mention? So, moving forward, what we'll be looking at is finishing out the U.S. History 2 lecture series. Essentially, the plan with that lecture series is to kind of finish it out, have a lecture for all the major units of U.S. History 2, and have that finished this fall, with the end of the fall, by the end of the fall semester. So, that means that ends in January. But you might be saying, why does the semester end in January? Well, our school district has an interesting way of keeping track of time. But bless their hearts. Anyways, so other projects I'll do is I'll upload the homesteading attempt. So this world. Actually, I've already made all the videos. They're not as good, high quality as this one because I just didn't have OBS when I first recorded, and I'm still learning this whole process. Let's see. Ran out of dirt. I'm always running out of dirt. So I've got future plans in that regard. That lava's way too close. There. But in that regard, I want to upload the homesteading video that I've already built. I just need to edit it, fix it. I'll finish out the Oregon Trail playthrough. We'll see who survives that little run. And I don't know what else I'll produce this semester, but I've got a pretty full schedule to put out there. And so on that note, I'm going to stop this particular recording here and basically tell you that I'm going to now set up a homestead in the Nether, because why not? But, well, I guess until later.